Alrighty, so next I thought I'd just do a bit of a show and tell of some of the stuff that I've printed. This is a really nice model tank. It's actually not available on Thingiverse anymore because it was subject to a sort of copyright takedown. It was actually a knockoff of a real toy that people can buy in stores. So it was taken down and I unwittingly printed it for my son. I actually made quite a few of them because there were all sorts of different turrets and things that could go on them. Now, you know, the finish is pretty good, and you know, I think they're toys that his friends rather envy. So definitely good for toys. I always get wrestled into doing prints for presents. So there's a designer on Thingiverse called Pretty Little Things, and she's got some furniture that she does for her sets. So I've printed these out. They're sort of, I guess, substituting for dollhouse furniture. There's a bookcase I printed. This is probably an example of something where I might actually redesign an aspect of it. The legs, which are sort of Queen Anne legs, which are very nice, they're printed vertically, and that creates a bit of a weakness. And so I might actually create a version of these legs that prints on a horizontal axis, and that'll actually make it a bit stronger. But they're very beautiful little pieces, and as long as they're treated delicately, they're very nice. There are also all the sort of usual interesting trinkets, like these Nautilus gears, which we've printed. There are, you know, the scrunchy bracelets. I was kind of interested to find out actually how to print these myself, so I created a profile on Thingiverse which does these quite successfully. So there's a few different types. This one's kind of got arrow pointy bits and thingos. And then the usual gear cube, which is designed by Emmett originally, and of course I couldn't get the pin to work with this, so I created a new pin which works with PLA, and I'll go into that in a bit more detail later on about how I actually designed that pin, but it's a flexible pin that works very well with PLA. This was actually the last of my MakerBot clear PLA, which I had a lot of trouble printing with originally, and this was the last thing I made with it. That's all I have left. So I was kind of glad to see the end of that one for all the grief it gave me. Also, as a designer, I'm presently working on a bike, so these are some of the parts. These are some forks that I printed for a larger model. Things like crank arms and sprockets. It does a very nice job. You can create models that you can then visualize and work with. So, you know, for me, I think as a designer, as a product designer, it's really transforming the way that I work. But in order for that to happen, you really need to be able to print reliably. And that's really what we're going to look at next, how to actually get the MakerBot Replicator 2 printing reliably.